I'll be back in a couple seconds.
Neil, there was one moment.
Right. Wait a minute, Gary. John's gone. Right. So if anybody's got anything to say, like really negative about John.
No, he saved our. I thought I was gonna kind of mess with him if he did go to sleep. I thought I was gonna like poke fun at the bear, like, oh, little pussy, and kind of. But when I realized that the community was gonna totally be there, I was like, oh, go to sleep. We got this. Like people are joining. I am fine. But there was one point where I had to tell the Ukrainian guys, Yuri, I had to tell them I need you guys to let me talk because it's the only way I'm going to stay awake. And I started telling my story, and I ended up bawling. I was so exhausted, and I ended up
emotional.
I ended up doing a total cry session at like 5 o'clock in the morning or something. So that was my biggest, weakest moment when I broke down crying, talking about how I left the sport and blah, blah, blah.
You do get emotional easy, though. You're very in touch with your feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got like your own little superpowers there, Gary.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm going to say that's what it is. Your superpower is clearly stamina and the fact that you can just continue rolling. You know what I mean? Were you like a great distance runner when you were a kid, Gary?
Well, I have a story. My brother from another mother is an ultra marathon runner, and he runs 100+ miles. And he invited me with not much notice to be his crew when he said he had 60 hours to run 130 miles. And it was in Death Valley in the desert in Nevada. And I said, oh yeah, I pictured you'd run, then you'd sleep, then you'd run, you sleep. And when we got to the race, he ran and he was breaking all the records. And the checkpoints, they were like, this dude, if he doesn't stop, he's going to break the 24-hour marker of the race. And he kept running all night long, and I never slept. I was the car that had to go feed him and give him water. And that was the first time, like, in competitive mode, I stayed up all night to support my runner. So it was kind of a marathon in itself. But that's like doing moments like that. I knew that if I keep myself busy, I can get through a sleepless night. So I've done it before. Never sitting in a chair talking, but
but it is kind of a superpower, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I remember speaking to Devin Larratt about his days in the special forces, you know, and he said that one of the hardest things he ever had to do was they kept them awake for days. They kept, you know, you have minimal sleep. He said at one point, I mean, you need to talk to Devin about this. Certainly we get him on, we will, in the Deep Inside series, but he told me, I think we were in Dubai actually, funnily enough, at the PAL event. We were sharing a room out there. And he said that during that training, he was so tired at one point that they were making them do press-ups, right? And when he hit the ground to do the press-ups, he went to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? You know? I mean, I've done that when I've been hammered drunk.
I was the one responsible for getting in training, so not real, but I was the one responsible for getting my entire team killed because I fell asleep. And I woke up like this.
But not literally killed, Gary. Nobody died, though.
No, training.
Oh, thank God. You worried me a little bit there.
No, I told you, training.
Thank
so
Christ.
We were training, sleep deprivation, and we had to go on missions, and the other teams had to find us, and all the teams had no sleep. And we stopped because we thought we saw the other team, and so we had to crouch down. I was in the Marine Corps. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
I had to crouch down, and they kept us there for like an hour because we were having to spot the other team, and they were having to spot us. And it's like capture the flag. The first person to kill shot the other team wins with the laser. And I fell asleep on my knapsack, my rucksack. I don't know how long. It may not even been a minute or two, but it'd been a couple days that we'd been up. And I had like a quick nightmare, and they saw my silhouette on the hillside because I went like, huh! And they were like, bam, bam, bam. And they're like, the whole team is dead. And they're like, Roberts, get up here, Roberts. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, that was my little training story where I got my entire team murdered.
That's pretty heavy, mate. I mean, I've done the old shake awake thing. Have you ever been in a situation where you do one of those, like, And we will introduce the show in a minute, ladies and gents, even though we're like nearly 5 minutes in and I haven't even done that yet. Okay, it'll be okay. So, yeah, not a problem. So, I was once on a bus ride, Gary, okay, across Russia. And obviously, I'm like Englishmen in Russia. Nobody speaks their language. It's a hell of a long bus ride. I'm trying to get right across Russia for an arm wrestling competition. And I'm absolutely exhausted. So I end up sleeping on this bus with my head on the window and leaning down in front of me. And then I have when you spaz awake, when you, I literally did that. Exactly. And there was this woman sat at the side of me and I scared the shit out of this woman. She did not know what, and when you try to pretend that you've got some massive nervous twitch, shoulders a bit ropey, like that. Because this bird was looking at me like, what are you doing? And she clearly knew that I'd just done that by the slobber that was up my face. But, probably made that noise as I woke up. But yeah, I don't know what I was dreaming about, but whatever it was, it wasn't good. I didn't think it involved everybody I knew being killed, but yours was a bit heavier.
It was in training.
Anyway, before we continue with our superpower stories, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talking the Talk, episode number 2. It's usually 1, but no, it's 2. Ladies and gentlemen, as always on the show, I say as always, we've only done one of them. As always on the show, Mr. Gary Roberts, who we've just heard once in training, killed everybody he knew. We've also got Derek M. Smith, giant and soon to be suntan giant as he heads over to Dubai to pull Larry Wheels. Woo! And last, but by no means least, a man who may be the nicest person in the sport of... In fact, everybody talks about most hated arm wrestler, all right? And you've got Michael Todd, who's probably the one. And you've got Ryan Bowen, who's chasing, nipping at his heels for that title. Well, if we're going far, the human biscuit of arm wrestling, I think there's two people that are out front, stand alone, Paul Lynn, the White Oak, and Uncle John. Uncle John is incredibly nice. I'm not sure Uncle John... I need to talk to Uncle John's missus and be like, try and go out and get lit up with Uncle John's missus and be like, does that motherfucker ever get mad? And Uncle John's missus be like, because she knows me. You know what, Fatty? Never gets mad. Uncle John is the type of guy that I reckon the police could roll up to his doorstep, right? And they could knock on his door and give him some horrific news, and he always manages to turn it round and find a professional way out of it. Because I've noticed on the show, John, if anybody says anything to you and it's a little bit, abrasive, you'll always find the positive. Which sure. I think that's a bit of a skill, Like Gary's got his I can stay awake forever superpower. You've got your I can be nice and professional in any situation superpower.
Well,
which that's a massive skill.
Yeah, well, I just train 4 hours a day, so I don't really have any energy left to respond to negativity. So that's it. Be nice.
When you wake up in the morning, do you feel happy most days?
Well, it depends on if we're talking about Uncle John or John Thompson. Uncle John?
Shit.
Uncle John is on all the time. Uncle John's life is as perfect as you could possibly imagine. I wake up, I train for arm wrestling, and then when I'm done with that, I make videos about arm wrestling. It doesn't get any better. As long as I can stay in Uncle John's armatorium and in my studio and I don't have to worry about the outside world, happiest guy on the planet.
That is amazing. So you've got like a alternate version of yourself. You got Uncle John, And you've got Jonathan Thompson.
Yeah, so they meld together, but certainly what I present is a heightened version, at the very least, of what I am. And I am interested in participating in drama, but I am not interested in being the source or really the driving force, because it gives me too much anxiety. I'm really just too weak in my heart to deal with it. And then I'll think about, oh, Evan was mad at me the other day. Oh, now I got to think about Evan for another day. And I don't do that, so I just try to be nice. And then
Gary's the source of
happier.
So okay, Gary, I've got 3 scenarios here for
Neil.
alternate Uncle John and real Uncle John. Check this shit out. Uncle John and Jonathan Thompson, right?
Yeah.
And we're having a little bit of a competitive set, right? And we put them into different scenarios. You tell me who wins. Okay. So in the red corner is Uncle John, and in the blue corner, weighing exactly the same as the other one, is Jonathan Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And they're sat either side of the aisle on a plane, and the captain comes on, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that we've lost the power on all 4 engines. And unfortunately, in about 5 minutes, this plane is going to go into the ground like a fucking dart."
Good stuff.
Okay. Jonathan Thompson or Uncle John? Who reacts better?
Who reacts better? Well,
who handles that mentally better?
Uncle John, probably. Uncle John does. John Thompson is too busy being pissed about the next thing that he will. Well, it's hard to say, because Uncle John will be pretty pissed, because he's probably, if he's on a plane, he's probably on his way to an arm wrestling tournament, and I'm probably more upset that I'm going to miss the tournament than the fact that the plane is going down, because I was probably training really hard and cutting a lot of weight, and I'll be like, I didn't eat a cheeseburger for 2 months because of this, and now I'm going to die? Jesus. Hard to say,
all good points. Who calms who down? Does Uncle John calm John Thompson down? Does he be like, "John, look on the bright side of this"?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's like, I would probably suggest we just jump out the door, so at least we get a little bit of an adrenaline rush before the end.
Could Uncle John, the Uncle John version, does he just see the positive in every situation?
Well, he hasn't experienced all the situations yet, but I try to think of the negative as a gift, right? So when something is brought to you that is negative, anywhere in your life, Jesus, I sound like a inspirational speaker right now, but it does you no good to amplify the negativity. So if you can instead try to use the negativity in a positive way, yada yada, blah blah blah, everybody's a little bit happier.
I wish I had like a really, really positive alter ego, like Happy Neil. So so in any situation I could handle it. Like I could come home and my wife was ugly and I had a terrible job.
Oh, you got the world.
Everything was going wrong.
Neil,
yeah, but imagine it. If you had that imagine how bulletproof you'd be, Derek. Like police knock on your door. They're like, you open the door. They're like, "Hello, Happy Neil." You're like, "Officer, hey, is that your wife?" And they show you a picture, and you look at it, and you go, "Yep, it's my wife." And you go, "Well, I'm sorry to say this, but it looks like she's been hit by a bus." And you just go, "Yeah, but she's filthy and she's good with kids." You've always got a positive, Derek.
It's
and I
right,
think
that's true.
Yeah, that's a. Have you got any superpowers yourself, Derek? Other than being a fucking giant?
I mean, just commanding a room. No, I don't know. I guess I'm pretty driven and pretty. I got this tattoo on my arm, right? It says "One Love" in German for it says
I did not know that. So that's "One Love" in German.
Yeah, because my family's German, like they have a bunch of family over there, and but "One Love" for me, it's like I did like Bob Marley, but more I'm very obsessive. I get very obviously I get pretty hooked on things. Mm-hmm. So my whole life though, not just in arm wrestling, but it was basketball. Then I went and played college basketball. Then it was video games. I did that, and then arm wrestling. Like I get really, really intense on things.
How the fuck did you get into video gaming, Derek?
Let's see. I was playing basketball was my life, like arm wrestling, posters all over the walls. It was everything to me. And then I was playing a junior college basketball out here for a little bit. Got in a fight with the coach because I thought I should be getting more playing time than I was. I said, you know what? I'm done with this. I took a break. And then that summer, I was sitting at mom's house, no job. I was like 19 or 18 or something like that. And I just picked up a video game controller and I said, hey, I just started playing for fun. And then people that I'm playing with, I got reasonably good. They started telling me online, oh, hey, there's a tournament in the town next to you. There is? And they're like, yeah, you show up at this store on a Wednesday and there's a tournament. So I just started. And then from there, just networking, and then you meet more people, and I meet the pros, and I play with the pros, and I get better. Then I play with their friends, even better guys, and I get better.
And that's how you met Ethan Fritchie, right?
That's right. Because Ethan Fritchie was a pro gamer, wasn't he?
Yeah. He played a different game than me. He played Gears of War, but Ethan was on like the #1 team in the world at Gears of War while arm wrestling. So I knew. Gaming.
Ethan Fritchie kind of looks like he could be a professional gamer though, because he's like super small and slim. He looks like he's a bit malnourished and pasty. You know, like a lot of pro gamers, they look a bit like that because they don't want to like take any time off the game to do things like eat. You do not look like that, dude.
Yeah, I eat. I definitely eat, for sure. No, yeah, Ethan, I guess he did fit the bill a little more. I don't know. I thought it was kind of a trip when I went from basketball, which is like aerobic and jumping and running and finesse with some kind of physicality because I'm big, to trying to learn how to push yourself in a game, right? So I have a controller, and if I hold forward, my guy runs as fast as your guy. Normally in sports, I could push myself further physically. I learned how to push myself physically, but in video games, there is no you push yourself. Either you jump or you run. You don't really control how fast. Everybody's perfectly even playing field, right? You can't make anything else happen. So in the middle of a match, you're like, how can I do better? How can I try harder? This guy only jumps so high and runs so fast, you know? So learning how to push myself up here, like how to dial it in, like, oh, okay, it's time to turn up the pressure. That was like something really important I learned through professional video game, because doing it all mentally compared to physically is different. And now I'm in a strength sport / combat martial arts, you know, so it's a little different as well. Yeah. So I just combat element me competitively.
So when you went on like a gaming stint, how long would you be gaming for, Derek? Could Gary have made like a pro gamer because he can stay up forever?
Yeah.
Imagine how much practice can get in.
Oh, I used to do that with Nintendo when I was a kid. I wouldn't go to bed until I freaking passed levels. It was like, I was obsessed.
And I believe you, mate. I believe that.
Oh yeah, Gary said that. But I mean, 16 hours is nothing for a pro gamer, especially when you're coming up, when you're climbing. No problem. No problem. Minimum 8.
I couldn't
up
do
to
that.
16.
Honestly, my attention span, I couldn't do that. I don't think I could. I'm not sure there's anything I can do for that long.
Uncle John and I are going to do it every New Year's. Every New Year's Eve.
Every New Year's.
Are you really going to do that next year again?
Why not?
Are there any negative after effects?
No, you just have to get back into the sleep cycle. That's all that gets altered is your sleep cycle.
Jesus. Well, listen, let's start. I'm going to go to John with this one. John, of the topics that were discussed in the Armathon, was there anything that was really surprising to you that it came up? I've got my own little take on this, and a couple of things that came up and were sort of like, I was amazed they were talked about so much on there, and have been since. But of the topics that we discussed, what were there any that surprised you, or were there any that were your favourites that you enjoyed the most?
Well, now that I'm just on the spot, it's like there's so many I can hardly think of any. I know we had another big discussion about the King's move at one point or another. I can't remember exactly when that happened. That might have been multiple times throughout.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I felt like that was overkill.
Yeah. Well, it was catalyzed because Devin's been talking about it a lot again. Andy's been talking about it a lot again. So that was fine. But honestly, when I was having maybe the best fun as an arm wrestler was when I had gone to bed at like 7:00 Atlantic, and I went and I slept for a couple hours, and then my own guilt woke me up because I'm like, God damn it, Gary's still on there, and so I got up. I trained for like an hour after that, took a shower.
You trained?
Oh yeah, I gotta train, Gary. I can't skip training. So I trained, took a shower, and then when I came back on, there was a multitude of people, but Neil, you were on there. Herman Stevens was on there. I think Dan Mosier was on there. It was all at the same time, and I kind of got to ask a few questions about, going from being a middle of the road arm wrestler to something more. And you guys, you and Herman both had really interesting answers. And that was informative to me. And I think I tried to ask some questions that other normal, typical arm wrestlers might want to know, instead of just looking at things from like a super duper elite level, which is really easy to get into, where we only talk about Devin and Travis and Michael and like this super high level stuff. But there's a lot going on in the middle as well.
When you woke up and your own guilt woke you up, I'm assuming that was Jonathan Thompson's guilt. Did Uncle John not just go, it's okay, John. It's good to get sleep and to train. Gary can handle it. His superpower is staying awake. And did you calm yourself down?
I can tell you the dynamic. So John Thompson was like, you better sleep. But then Uncle John had two things in mind. One was, I feel bad because I left Gary, even though I left him in good hands, because by the time I left, everybody was the pitching in was starting, right? So we had 5 or 6 people on there, and people were jumping in, and I felt like I didn't need to, help push things forward.
Yeah.
The other half, though, which might have been that might have been more of John Thompson too, was, if I leave and don't come back, do I forfeit a lot of the glory that's going to come at the end of this thing?
I like that.
Do I get forgotten?
So it's kind of sinister.
I only did 12 and Gary did 20?
Yeah.
There was a little bit of that. And so I came back on, 1, because it's just fun to be on and talk with everybody. 2, to support Derek's dream, to support Gary so he didn't just die. And a little bit to just wear my shirt on stream a little longer.
I gotta be honest, I was looking for you. At times I was like, where is he? I know he got some sleep. Come back.
I was in there 4 times. I tried to get there, man. I was trying.
How long were you on there, Derek, in total?
Let's see, I signed in pre-drinking, or no, just at the beginning when I was drinking for New Year's. I signed in when I got home from the club, hammered drunk. I signed in when I woke up the next morning, hungover as hell, and then I signed in again later with my daughter at the very, very end, right before Gary signed off, to say thank you again. So,
I identify strongly with one of those looks, because I signed in on Gary's suggestion, like early morning, the morning after New Year, and I tried to stay in. You're probably in the comments. I stayed up till it was about 4:30 a.m. UK time. I went on the show at 11 o'clock, came off like 10 past midnight, I think. But then I thought, I'm quite pissed, and I fancied carrying on drinking, so I ended up having like another half bottle of wine, then like a couple of beers, and was on the chat a lot and started having a laugh with some of the guys on the chat taking a piss. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody, but it's quite funny to me. And I got to bed about 4:30, then I got up the next morning, and when I went to bed, I swear to God, everything seemed like a good idea. I had Uncle John on my shoulder, and he was saying, yeah, Patty, do it. Do it, Patty. Stay up. It's okay to be pissed. Stay up. And I thought, I'm on it. That morning, when I woke up, I did that first, re-signing. I went for a shower, as I do when Gary's near me. I got up, I went back on the show, and I tried to man it off. But I'd taken a couple of headache tablets, and throughout the entire session in the morning, it was like I had Uncle John, the positive entity, had gone, and I had another dude. And I couldn't really make him out through the haze, but he was a smaller guy, looked a little like Ryan Bowen, and he was going, bastard, 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 just repeating bastard in my ear, but in a voice that was like midway between annoying, but really negative, just bastard, 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 over and over again. And I did that whole session. And when I left, I think I said something. I lied. I said something like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go because I got stuff to do." I didn't have anything to do. I had to sit still. That's what I did. What I did was sit still in there and just go, oh, God. It was a terrible idea. I'm never going to drink again. I can tell you guys that.
Oh, yeah. Never again. Never again.
Well, I appreciate, Neil, I didn't do this for self-love, right? I just wanted to prove to myself, can I do something cool and answer the question, am I relevant here in the sport? And by your presence, being involved, it helps shush Joey, Artem's roommate up from Friends.
Yeah, it weirds me. Does it weird John? Does it weird you out? Both John Thompson and Uncle John. Does it weird you guys out? And does it weird all of you, Derek, out? Gary is so self-depreciative. I mean,
Gary needs to be much less self-deprecating, for sure.
It's really bad. I mean, it's really bad every time.
Gary is...
I don't know what you mean.
You're down on yourself, mate.
Gary is too in tune with the emotion that you give and receive online, right? And he's so heightened in tune to it that it is difficult, right? Because, there's certain things that get said and people say things where they disagree with you. But I really chalk a lot of the drama in the arm wrestling community. A lot of it has to do with I'm saying one thing, you're saying another thing, but we don't know that we're saying the same thing or the different thing, and we're having communication breakdowns. And then you add on top of that some people trying to take advantage, some people trying to create drama, and then it just mixes in. So it's just, for me, it's just the art of ignoring, But it's difficult. It's difficult. Gary, you're the man.
Mate, you're number one. How can you not be relevant, Gary? I mean, you captured some of the most incredible arm wrestling moments in the history of the sport in North America and brought them to the masses. I mean, you just did.
Okay. Sorry.
We know you went through that period where you bared your soul a bit like Adam Wilmot does. When you went on there and you said, I think it was on Beauty and the Beast, and you said, look, there was a time, Travis. There was a time when I took steroids and went crazy and scratched my face and barked at people. And when I was watching that show, I was like, Jesus, Gary, you don't need to tell us all this, But you did it, and it's good that you did that. It's like that one time, that was Mike Concho.
Mike Concho.
I don't know why you did it, mate, but you have this downer on yourself. And you've no need to have a downer on yourself. 90% of the people love you.
I know. I'm talking about relevancy. So I was speaking to Nola Mitz on the phone, and he was reminding me that when he first spoke to Devin Larratt, and Devin Larratt said I was coming back into the sport, all he mentioned was the old content. It's like, I'm just going to share old content. What I could do today with something new or contribution with something new, I didn't even know if I was going to do that or try to do that. Like, this whole thing, I didn't know about any of that. So when someone says you're a has-been, like you're living off your old name, your old content.
And the weird thing is that you've shown so many facets of what you're capable of already. I mean, you're already, some of it I happen to think's total bollocks, but it's cool anyway. Like, when you were coming up with an entirely new arm wrestling format, and you and Travis were talking about that on the show. Ladies and gents, if you do not watch Beauty and the Beast, get your ass over and watch Beauty and the Beast. It's good stuff. You got Travis the Beast, who's just funny as hell, and he's on there with Gary. They talk complete bollocks for 45 minutes an hour. It's very similar to a lot of the stuff I do. But within that, Gary is very open, forthcoming, interrupts a lot. Travis is very, direct in the way that he is. And you guys obviously bounce around a lot of ideas, but most of it has been around what's coming, what's going forward, what you plan to do, plan to achieve. That's your thing.
Yeah, it still stings if somebody calls you a has-been. I mean, I guess you guys are all good at ignoring it. I haven't learned that. You don't. You have haters, Derek?
How the hell can
haters?
You hate?
Who the right?
Hate Derek? It's like saying
you
hate that puppy. Nobody hates that.
There's
puppy.
People that are dead set on hating me, but in the actually on that topic, well, I mean, you got people jealousy and little people. Little Canadian people will talk out of turn sometimes. Ones that are this.
Oh, shit.
Oh, he froze right on that.
He froze on that.
I
mean, can you write that? We did not plan that. That's not like that. Did you see what you did then, Derek?
Oh, when I was describing Gabi? I mean, some little Canadian?
You froze on the scale thing. You full on.
Well, good.
Froze. That you did, and that wasn't planned. We didn't script it.
By the way, I tried to broker a relationship mending with Gabi and Gary
in the show.
Well,
not worth it. Not worth it.
Yeah, we almost did it. I thought we were going to come on and hug out for the New Year, and on Chris Gabi, I was so prepared to hug you for the New Year. Then I see you attacking my man for us trying to send him to Dubai. He wasn't even involved. He had nothing to do with it. How could you criticize Derek Smith, who is completely in the dark about the entire thing? It's not his fault.
Oh my God.
It's my fault.
So Chris had a downer on Derek.
On Facebook.
Oh yeah, we got it. We got into it a little bit. But I was pulling punches. He's lucky I was pulling punches. But Chris ended up unfriending me on Facebook at the end of that.
I missed the whole saga.
Yeah, I ain't seen any of that. Nothing.
Chris Gabi's quote said, "Derek hasn't done anything relevant lately. Why would he go? And I was like, come on, man. We're supposed to start the new year positive.
Yeah, like Uncle John, for fuck's sake.
Right?
It's all about that positivity, man. Come on.
All about positivity.
Do it.
Yeah.
Can I take you guys to practice with me? I'm getting 40 phone calls right now for my practice that starts.
He's supposed to be we're keeping him for practice. And we're only 32 minutes in.
My practice, I got a huge practice. I got Oleg Mo.
I mean, it's there right now, or you got to drive somewhere?
No. It's a 15, 20-minute drive. I'll take you guys with me if you want.
15, 20-minute drive live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking the talk. Oleg Masai will not wait. No.
Hey, that kid's amazing.
He's bad man, isn't he? He's bad man. So, trying to ignore the fact that Derek is on the move, ladies and gentlemen, on the move.
So, if we're going to be wrapping up, can we just talk?
Whoa, sweet child of mine. Wrapping what up?
I'm just saying,
we're warming up, son.
I'm just saying if we're losing Derek, I'd like him to tell us about his conversation with Adam Silver. If we lose him.
Oh, it's all good. Adam Silver was hyped on it. Nice. We haven't discussed dates yet.
Wait, what did you tell him? You called him? What did you say? Like, walk us through it.
I've been texting Adam.
Walk through it, guys.
Yeah.
I've been texting Adam like off and on for a while. He's a good dude, and I was trying to map out something to go out there on my own anyway. Eventually, one day, if I could ever afford it. But Adam basically, we were talking about. He said he loves me and the everything I'm about, and that he wants us to come out. And so I told him the whole spiel. Gary Roberts and Uncle John dedicated their life to me for a day, and because of that, I was able to come out there. And he said he'd love to have me. He said he'd love to help me out and help out my channel, and they love supporting smaller channels and growing. And that Larry had mentioned a couple times that he wanted for me to come out. So no, it's all super positive, and they received me well.
Can't argue with that, mate. What a great start. So when's the day?
We haven't chosen a date because I have 2 jobs right now, and got to talk to the mom of my child and make sure everything's kosher. But then we'll start looking at dates for sure pretty soon.
Do you have like a sliding scale of priority in terms of, you know, if something came up and you couldn't do it, would you send like somebody else in your place? Is that a doable thing? Would you go, okay, I'm going to send Uncle John, I'm going to send... What would happen? What would have you guys discussed that?
Listen, somebody in the chat said that they should think Derek should go to Zloty. And I was like, hey, man.
Instead of Dubai.
If Derek said, hey, I want to allot that $2,000 to something else, I'd be completely supportive. I don't want it to like
really
just...
what it's about, is it? You were looking to assist him in furthering his sort of becoming a professional YouTuber, dedicating his life.
And
are you a professional arm wrestler now, Gary? Are you 100% primetime on TV professional arm wrestling producer now? Is that content producer? Is that what you do?
Yes, 100%. This is my focus. Yes.
Okay, John, are you 100% arm wrestler?
Not 100%. I do have one other job that I still do.
Mm-hmm.
But
what is that, Johnny?
So my wife's a psychologist, and I actually have a master's degree I have a regular degree in psychology, a master's degree in sociology, and so I do all of her intakes for her practice.
Okay, I thought you were going to go, I have a master's degree in positive.
Well, here's the funny, I got my master's, I actually have half of a PhD, which I quit to become a professional wrestler. I quit my PhD to do this.
So, yeah, because you were massively into the WWE, weren't you? You like your wrestling, your pro wrestling.
Oh, I love pro wrestling, yeah.
Wait. To quit to become a pro wrestler or arm wrestler?
Pro arm wrestler. My fault.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute. You have a secret WWE.
Coincidentally, I do love the WWE, but I quit my PhD halfway through to become a professional arm wrestler.
So, you are sort of 50% professional. Gary is 100% committed to arm wrestling. I think Travis is 100% arm wrestling. Ryan Bowen, 100% arm wrestling. Devin Lara, 100% arm wrestling. There's a few dudes out there now. Michael Todd, who is currently flying out to Dubai.
I think he just landed, right?
He maybe did. Yeah, maybe did. But he's another one that's pursuing the dream. The next one could be Derek M. Smith, Esquire. Yeah.
That's the plan. That is the plan. God wills.
You're in the right place.
And I think he can do it. I definitely can.
He's got all the attributes.
For me, Derek, again, to go back to why I was happy to do this for Derek, is Derek gives, it's not, it is a big part is for Derek to go and for Derek's channel to grow, but Derek will give us something back because he is part of the Larry Wheels story, right? He is kind of that front few pages of the Larry story. And for me personally, I want to know how much Larry has progressed. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to get Derek over to pull Larry Wheels, just so we can see what it is. And as a connoisseur of arm wrestling content, that's what I really want to see. I want to see Derek pull him more than I want to see Devin, more than I want to see Michael Todd pull him, right?
Yeah. I think Michael's just going up
the
there.
Mission.
Michael's just going to be training him, isn't he? So let's say Derek, if Derek goes out there in another, month, maybe there'll be a significant progression in Larry's technical prowess in that period of time, depending on what he's. Is everything in place now? Travel-wise from your area of the country, Derek, you're completely free to travel when it permits.
As far as I know, I think there's still restrictions on where I can go, but the United States is allowing me to fly out. Yeah, it's just the other countries, I got to see what the restrictions are like for them.
But Derek wants me time. Derek wants me time. He doesn't want to share Larry with Michael, which is totally cool.
How is that going to happen though? Mike's there for 4 months.
To go right after.
But I hear that
he's coming back.
I hear that Mike's leaving for a couple of weeks. No, and the thing is, I love Mike Todd. No problem with Mike at all. I was how funny. Look, I wanted to work with Larry, with me standing next to the number one guy in the world, arguably. and giving tips to Larry with Mike just standing there. I don't want to contradict anything Mike might say, there's that.
Yep.
And also, I would like to get some one-on-one time with Larry, and really be able to focus on him and explain just my take. Everybody has different takes on arm wrestling and their own style of talking about it. I've developed my own take. I don't know. And I feel like it's good, and I would like to explain that. But I also don't want to step on toes because, everybody teaches different. Everybody teaches way different.
No, I think that's one of the problems that Larry's encountering at the moment is this, there's a degree of snowblindness there because such a diverse offering of people going out there. Mike is a very well-rounded arm wrestler, but very unique in terms of his stylistic approach. You've got Devon, who is very unique, teaches a lot around his own physical prowess, which is second to none. Had he had Ray Lipinge out there, you've got like the complete opposite end of the spectrum, because Ray is going to be looking at most of the pressing-based inside movement. So with the best intention in the world, trying to take all of that in is very difficult in a short period of time, relatively short period of time,
Right.
So
I agree.
Be interesting.
The two things I really want to see, well, three things. Obviously, pull Larry. Two, I want to see Derek pull some of those guys like Suhail Khan, because we see a lot of the guys. I don't know where are they. I forget where they're from. The UAE or something like that.
Yeah, the Arab Emirate team, and they have some of the guys from India over there as well, don't they?
Yeah, and it's really hard to get a grasp on what their actual level is. What does it mean to be a national champion from that country? I don't really know. So if Derek can get us some more data on that would be good. And if when you're on camera, Derek, you could mention Uncle John's Arm Wrestling Show 300-400 times, that would be fine as well.
600 times.
I got a message from the Enigma of Rage himself, Ingen Terzi, who at one point Ingen was coaching me and was, just one of the guys I looked up to the very most in the sport. And he messaged me with an invite to maybe come over there with him, and I guess it's really close. So that sounds very interesting to me as an arm wrestler.
Oh yeah, I mean, awesome. If you get some time to get over there and train with Engin, I would definitely grab that with both hands. Engin is a special dude. He really is. That'd benefit you massively, I'm sure. Very.
I gotta go over there and practice my King's move.
Yeah, King's move him. Yeah. King's move him.
Oh my God!
Neil, pick up. Again. You're saying that when Michael Todd comes back, Larry's coming back with him?
That was my understanding. Is that in April, Larry was moving back to the United States. We had Mike on the show a few weeks ago, and that's what he told me. He said, "Look, there's a window of opportunity for 4 months because Larry is moving permanently back to the US." That doesn't mean, his affiliation with Mike. I'm sure will continue, particularly if they've done a lot of good work. Whilst Mike's been over in Dubai, but that was my take on it. Yeah, what I heard.
What do you,
Derek?
Sorry, mate. Say again.
Is he moving to Los Angeles, to LA?
I don't know. I really don't know, mate. Don't know where he's coming, where he's going to, because that's right around the corner from you. Obviously, if he does, but I genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Derek, if Michael Todd is over there, he might agree to give you a window. You might be able to get content, no Michael, Larry, and then Larry with Michael. That might make some interesting things. You and Larry and Michael could do some crazy collab, three-way. Michael's blown up too. There might be some negotiation here. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I love Michael Todd. He is the man, and I would love nothing more than to hold him. And I at no point want to take away from him or affect Mike in any negative context whatsoever.
Yeah. Do you feel like it would be beneficial for you to maybe hold out for a little while and see if the travel restrictions have therefore, just moved back a little bit? Because if they had, there's then that potential for you to do, like you say, get out and do a little bit with Engin. I mean, not that I know if there are any restrictions into getting into Turkey, but I'm sure there are areas that you could potentially look to visit off the back of that trip, So maybe there is something in holding back a little bit to maybe March.
Well, I also injured my left hand a little bit a couple weeks ago. I just popped my elbow a little bit, which usually takes 2 or 3 months to get fully healed. So I'm waiting on that anyway. but I mean, yeah, I'm down to wait. I just want to make sure. I want to give people that donated to help me go what they want. They want to see a trip. They want to see footage. They want to help me out and help me realize, this goal of chasing this YouTube channel. So yeah, I want. The last thing I want to do is let anybody down or have anybody feel like they donated to an.
Hey, Derek, do you have a passport?
Yes, I do. I do have a passport.
Okay. Because I was going to say we got to get that if you didn't.
Yeah, I must admit, if he'd have said no, we'd have needed Uncle John to come in with some positivity at that point.
Yeah.
Well, borders are imaginary. It's just one world that we're living in here.
It's my dude.
Hey, that's nice.
I would like to give a shout out to go to Uncle John's YouTube site to pick up these shirts.
Get yourself over, buy some merch on Teespring from Uncle John, and just get over and check out Uncle John, basically.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, Arm TV shirts are available as well on our channel.
Weirdo camera guy is that's an essential piece of wardrobe, I think, for anyone.
Yeah.
Weirdo camera guy. Yeah.
Neil, you're not able to do full-time arm wrestling yet? You still have a regular job?
I have a regular job as well. I am a man with many caps. Not all of them cloth.
Have you ever gotten close to just doing what you want to do and strength?
No, I could have done. But no, I've kept my fingers in pies, Gary. So I do a lot of roles in presenting. Obviously, I do other strength sport presenting as well, within the World's Strongest Man arena. Fight sports, obviously, motorcycle sports. There's a lot of different areas for that kind of thing. But my true love is arm wrestling, without shadow of a doubt. From a sporting perspective, there's nothing that's as close to my heart as arm wrestling. It never will be.
So your jobs are all still in sports related, no like non-sports jobs?
Oh, no. I work in the wine industry as well.
The wine industry?
Yeah, which is not in any way. I mean, there are people who drink for sport, but I'm not.
So you're like a wine expert?
I have a knowledge of wine. I wouldn't consider myself to be an expert amongst, I wouldn't go on and say that I was a globally knowledgeable. No, I wouldn't go out there and put myself out as a wine expert. For working in the wine industry for 20 plus years, I've amassed an amount of knowledge on wine, but I'm not in pursuit of that area, and it's not something I've, hang my hat on at all. No, it depends what you consider a wine expert. I've got a lot of knowledge of the wine industry.
Wow.
If you've been in anything for that long, yeah, it sort of washes over you.
Does the people in the wine industry that you work with, do they know about your legendary status?
I try and keep a lid on that as much as I can. It's no need to cross it over. But I've never been beat by anybody in the wine industry, Gary. I'm undefeated from wine.
So, wait, hold on. So you're saying there's people in this world that just know you as Neil, a wine guy?
Yes.
That's weird.
And that's the way I like it. Yeah.
Hey, I started working at a strip club last weekend. I'm at a strip club now, so, yeah.
Nice.
That's it. Yeah, the heels, the high heels are killing me. My feet have been
legendary. Did you know this, Gary, before you were sending him to Dubai?
Yeah, I just found out last week.
I just started last weekend.
So what are you doing? Are you working security, Derek?
No, I'm working currently, but just trying to make an honest living out here,
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I'm doing security. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And is it full, Derek, is it full nudity?
Or do they let
told me to wear a
tie? I'm not going to lie. If I rolled up to the door and you came out with willy-nilly hanging, it was like, no, son, you're not coming in. I'd be like, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to go to the next one.
Do you get to see full nude women at work?
No, it's a topless bar, Gary.
Topless.
Because Gary was coming filming at your joint.
Yeah.
Gary was going to go like, I'm
Arm TV, cribs, and workplace coming near you, Derek Smith.
Do you work at one of Gary because he super chats like a bastard?
Do you work at one of Barry Bourne's 5 strip clubs?
No. I have not yet cross paths with Barry Bourne, sadly.
I wanted to mention earlier, Neil, that it was Uncle John. I was on his Wednesday night after dark, and he said the John Dabo incident was being discussed, and he said, I completely disagree with shining a light or doing any interviews with somebody of this character. And I heard that, and I was like, oh, I got to interview John Dabo.
I've actually changed my mind completely on that.
Was it Uncle John talked Jonathan Thompson out of that view? I think over the last couple months, since Dabo came out, since Barry Bourne came out, I'm starting to realize that even those people who I find to be generally completely insane, they do have worth. And it's taking a negative and turning it into a positive. And if we can just shine the correct light on these people, Barry Bourne is probably going to be a faint memory in 6 months. So why don't we just let that light shine as bright as we can for the time we have him? Neil, he's got 10 or 12 world championships. He just has to find the info on his computer that's at the other Bourne house. Where he won those and on what day and yeah.
Well, it's hard. You got 10 or 12 of them. It's hard to remember when you won.
Wait,
Barry Bourne has 10 or 12 world championships?
That's what he told me, yeah.
Man, that sounds like the Bourne supremacy.
And 7 languages. Message to Barry Bourne. I will slap the bees out of you, bro. You will be Ari Orn. Like when we match up, you are my one opportunity to get wins on a world champion, bro.
That could be match of the year.
You silly.
It could be match of the year.
He's chasing that match hard. Now, you going in there natural, Gary, because we know you can be another boy. We don't need that. You don't need that specially prepped Gary to show up barking at dudes. And
I only took steroids with the one. I had one little bottle that I injected.
Man.
Oh, Gary. I couldn't play Monopoly. I was playing Monopoly with my wife, and they were having me move ex-wife, and they were having me move pieces, and my hand was shaking like this. And everyone was like, what the hell is wrong with you? I was like, I'm on steroids.
I'm on steroids.
You didn't tell everybody. Did you tell everybody? Did you say I'm
No. I hit it. It wasn't until years later that I was like, okay, I can talk about it.
Did it not like that scene in Superman where you figured you could just nip outside and do a sub 8 second 100 meters? Leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Yeah. I had a bad steroid experience. I don't know what to say.
It's my favourite thing you've ever said on a show, Gary. When you bet your soul on that, I was laughing my ass off. Yeah. It was like, oh, mate, where was he going with this now?
Oh, no, Neil Pickup, that opened Pandora's box. I got at minimum 15 Facebook messages from people wanting to be my dealer, telling me I'll hook you up on the right stuff, and I'm like, because I made the mistake going, I want to know more about it, and I had dealers reaching out to me, like, instantly.
Oh, mate, dear Gary, you're a unique individual. What an hombre, I'll tell you what, unreal. Yeah. Lads, we are now 52 minutes into this second episode of Talking the Talk. And although we had aspirations to steer it in a certain direction, I'm not sure that we have delivered on a single one of those aspirations. But you know what? It's okay, because having spent now almost 2 hours around Uncle John, I feel a lot more positive.
Good.
I don't know. What about you guys? Not feel more positive? I do. Do you not feel more positive?
Oh, we didn't answer Derek's question, though.
Oh, shit. Let's do it. What was his question?
What, you want us to plug a channel?
Oh, yeah. I say it'd be fun if we each mentioned another arm wrestling YouTube channel. Right?
Wait a minute.
I mean, that's
whoa. Before we do that, can I just say, in true Gary Roberts style, butting in and firing something in there, entire Armathon, who was your most impressive? Because what brought me onto this, I'm not going to lie, what brought me onto this was Uncle John, in his positive fashion, told us that he was trying to heal a rift between yourself and Chris Gobby live on air. And I feel like there was another rift healed live on air.
Ryan Bowen.
I'm Pradeep Singh.
Pradeep Singh.
Mate, let me tell you now, in the entire history of podcasts of any description, long or short, has anyone ever come onto a podcast and said less and stood more stationary than Pradeep Singh?
He was at work.
He was playing musical statues.
Yeah.
Wait, you had Pradeep Singh on the show?
He was on the show.
I missed it.
Oh my gosh.
That's because he stood still. And most people, I'm a bit like a T-Rex. My vision's based on movement, and I wouldn't see Pradeep because no fucking didn't move, did he? I was like, is he frozen up? And then now and again he'd move something, and I'd be like, no, Pradeep is not.
Hey,
he did 20 minutes, he didn't say a goddamn thing.
Hey, we got to say nice things about him because he wanted to enter the year positively.
He hasn't. Pradeep sent me a message afterwards saying, thanks for putting that up because I'm really pleased that me and Ryan have like buried the hatchet. You know? Where only a week before it seemed as though he wanted to bury the hatchet in the top of Ryan's fucking head. Now, from somebody, I mean, what a turnaround. What a massive, he just total 180. But if you do that again, I figure next year's show, right, Pradeep, if you're watching this, check this out, son. Next year, you should see how long you can stay on there. Maybe you can go way past. Maybe you can do 2 days next time. And for the entire 2 days, Pradeep can come on, stand motionless and say, "Oh." We think.
I'm in.
I think you can do it.
I added, I don't know if you noticed, but there was a guy, he just wanted us to watch him work out. And I had him in there. He was just working out, doing curls.
Forever.
He never said anything.
John was doing curls too. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, but he was talking.
I was showing off a bit, yeah.
He was talking. This other guy was just
doing it.
It was so funny. Anyways, we'll totally do, what's your channel? What's your channel that you'd like to see more successful, Derek Smith?
Go.
Gary, you might touch, not like this one, but I have to plug my buddy Wes Bjornson. I have to plug Wes in the grip. Yeah, that's my buddy. That's my buddy.
Do not tell me that you've had beef with Wes Bjornson.
Me?
Yeah. Have you pissed off Wes Bjornson as well?
Listen, man, I got nothing against Wes. He doesn't like me.
What the?
It's because nobody pays enough attention and everybody thinks everybody else says other things and they don't listen to each other. That's it.
Okay, so I'll give you
You're getting gripped with the grip.
Neil, I'll give you a small just snippet. So when the whole Alex channel thing and I caused a bunch of drama and I said on Facebook, I was just lashing out. I said the words, I'm thinking about suing Alex. I just said it on Facebook. It's just, unlike Uncle John, who does not get upset and he's perfect,
Never.
Gary Roberts will say some dumb shit. And I said that on Facebook. I didn't have a lawyer. I didn't have anything planned out. It was just anger, outlash. Okay. Wes Bjornson did a video basically saying that this was a master plan. I have lawyers coaching me, and all my responses online have been coached by like lawyers of how to maximize a return from a lawsuit and to maximize the gain to get from out. And it's like, I messaged Wes. I'm like, bro, I don't have any plans, man. I'm just saying shit, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nah, I don't believe you. Like, so that's his angles that I'm calculated. And I'm like this mastermind of how to clickbait you. And I hate titles. The minute you gave me money and say Gary Roberts has a budget to blow up ARM TV, the very first thing I will do is step farthest away from ever having to create a title or a thumbnail. I hate it. I hate anything to do with that. But he thinks I'm like this master manipulator, clickbait. I want to trick you. Man, I just told him, like, dude, I'm just trying to create interesting titles, something that will catch your attention and be somewhat in the vein of what we were talking about. Anyways, he supported Derek. He gave a $15 super chat. We thank him, and I would love nothing more to bury the hatchet, but he doesn't believe that I'm a sincere, like, honest, just guy who makes mistakes. I don't know.
Yeah, Wes is a good dude. He just he thought you were a little clickbaity. He told me a little. Your titles were a little questionable. But he doesn't say he hates you as a human being and has distaste for you. He's good. We can bury that hatchet. Shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, the last. Neil, do you do premieres?
What are we talking about? I have literally no idea what you're talking about. No. Are we talking Leicester Square? We go and watch, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Boom?
No, when you upload a video in advance, you can premiere it. So it shows up on your YouTube page, but it says 8 hours to go, 7 hours to go.
Toaster.
It's so new.
So you just upload a video and you just put it out there. You don't toaster. Okay.
No loop, Gary. He goes full out.
Well, I take advantage of the premiere, so I put it on Facebook and I say tonight at 5 p.m. Sometimes it's 5 hours, sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 3 hours. And I do that because I want a bunch of people to watch it together and we can chat. We can chat along.
But when you do that, do you the videos on you and John and Travis, and in the title you put Devon's dick?
He complained about that, yes, but this last episode with Wes, he said I was doing the premieres because I wanted double clicks. He was saying, I want you to click on it at noon and be tricked that you got to come back at 5 p.m. So you've given me 2 clicks and I'm intentionally misleading you, is what he's complaining about.
Wait a minute while I get a pen. I'm going to write this down. Right. Repeat what you just said, second, because that sounded like a really good idea. So you get 2 clicks.
Double click.
It's fake news. It's fake
double click.
Yeah, but it's called double fake news. Listen. All right. Me and John Thompson, maybe Derek, because he works in a strip club. That is how we would roll. Uncle John would ring me up and would be like, "No, Neil." And that sounds like you would as well, Gary, and I trust you.
Here's the point. Here's the point with Wes Bjornsson.
Don't get
Every time I've done something online, if he's commented, it's been a negative nature. It's like he looks at me with negative glasses first.
Okay.
Just every time. Whereas like you called me up and you gave me a shit sandwich where you're like, you compliment me, then you say you're angry that a interview went crazy, but then you wrap it up and you say, but I still love you.
I do.
So you wrap the thing. It's called a shit sandwich. Stevan Matosian told me it. Like if you have something you want to tell someone it's negative, you say something positive, then negative, then come back with positive. Wes Bjornsson just hits me with negative. He's never said. He just thinks I'm a shyster.
So when Wes Bjornsson of The Grip, check it out.
The Grip.
What's the title? Is it The Grip? What? Give it a little plug.
I think his channel's just The Grip. His YouTube channel's just The Grip.
I watched some of his gamer streams a couple days ago.
So Wes is like the Antichrist of Uncle John.
He wishes. He's not that bad.
Uncle John's positive, and The Grip Well, losing the title, really.
Wait. So what's your guys' channel? You got to plug some YouTube channel. Come on.
Yeah,
I throw a little guy.
The hour mark now, and we even got the friggin' channels in there. It's your idea, Gary. Fire one in.
Sweet. I did not compliment enough Sweden Arm Wrestling TV.
SATV.
Great.
Excellent.
Great.
They gave multiple contributions to the cause, and I just want to give them some love. Say thank you very much for you doing that, and he's been a supporter for years. He messaged me, said welcome back. Anyways, shout out to them and Brad Cook 217. His channel is wholly under supported. Yep. And Neil Pickup, you should have 20,000 followers as well.
I would love that. I do not have that, but I would love that.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's concentrate on the important stuff. Mr. Positive, technical director of Talkin' the Talk, Uncle John, who is your channel, mate? Who are you going to give a little boost to?
So this is going to sound like a cop-out, but since Gary took 2 when the second one was mine was 217, I'm actually having Brad Cook on Uncle John After Dark. So pending the release of this video, maybe go check out the recording of it. But he's going to come on After Dark because during that live, during the stream, he actually hit 1,000 subscribers while we were streaming.
That would be very good.
Yeah, so he hit 1,000, and man, like Gary said, this guy deserves so much more. The stuff he does is amazing, and he has personally helped me out a lot in my editing. I just bought a new camera. He walked me through the whole process. So super good dude, and I hope that he does really, really well. 217, Brad Cook.
I'm sorry I stole your thunder, bro.
It's okay.
Little bit sinister, but we'll let you off that, Gary.
Because he came in, he contributed so much to our broadcast.
Oh yeah. In a deep, sexy voice.
He's not just talented, but his knowledge level of just cameras and equipment, and it's impressive.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay, I won't double up. Here's the other one. Aussie arm wrestler. We got to give it out to him. Jay Ford.
Yeah.
Because he owned it for like good 3 or 4 hours during the stream too, and he was very good. He was right there with the topics. Funny. It was awesome. Really good.
Jake's another super boy and a positive dude.
Let me interrupt you guys for just a second. A favorite bald shaved head of ours.
Who is that?
Oh,
Sir Jamie.
That's Cameo.
There he is. I love this stuff.
You get it all on this show. I'll tell you what.
Neil and John and Gary.
Jamie, you are on the second ever episode of Talkin' the Talk, son. I mean, I can't see because the sun is shining off your body.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's my fault. Dark Lord. Here we go.
For anybody watching the second episode of Talkin' the Talk, panic not. That was not a solar flare.
Yeah.
Jamie Sheldon just put his head through the car window.
Hey, Neil Pickup. I should have said Aussie Arm Wrestler first because he saved my ass multiple times.
Yeah, but mate, if you've done that, you realise, you sinister son of a bitch, you realise that would have been another one of John's things that you'd nicked.
I know.
You see?
Hey, my wife is shutting me down. I gotta go.
Guys,
You guys are doing good.
I am so pleased that happened. I want to say a massive thank you, ladies and gentlemen, to my resident co-host here on Talkin' the Talk, Gary Roberts, the very positive Uncle John, the giant former basketball gamer, Derek M. Smith, the temporary solar flare having Jimmy, the natural Sheldon, Nat Fit motherfuckers, get over there. This has been Talkin' the Talk, episode number 2. And ladies and gentlemen, until we see you next time, right here, take it easy, peeps.
What grabs your eyes on that, if anything?